Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around. In today's sermon, we shall be talking about three of the most vilest men to ever step foot onto this planet. These men, in my opinion, are the biggest menaces. I'm talking the pettiest ever. These are the type that if you look at them in the wrong way, you might get stuck. These guys are worse than Hondo, worse than Merle, worse than Kate the And at the end, I'll be crowning who I think is the biggest menace. So let's get into it.
Wake the f*** up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Whoa, it's like symbolic.
The infamous rocker boy of Night City is easily the biggest menace in the Cyberpunk universe, as the rivalry between him and Arasaka is generational heat. However, to understand the why, we must understand his past. Silverhand is a veteran, and after seeing how corrupt the corporations and the government are firsthand, deserts, labelled as a traitor by the United States. This leads to him creating the rock band Samurai with his best friend Kerry Eurodyne, and we all know why Kerry joined the band, don't we?
Getting caught.
Anyways, Johnny gets in a relationship with netrunner Alt Cunningham, who gets kidnapped by Arasaka forces after one of Silverhand's gigs. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the beginning of one of the greatest rivalries in gaming history. Johnny with his crew fights his way to Arasaka HQ, and after slaughtering half of their forces, he finds Alt dead. And this bozo has the audacity to keep recording, saying, "This is all we can do, my man, show people the truth." This leads to Johnny delivering left hook after left hook, calling into his inner Lex Luthor. And instead of grieving like a normal human, Johnny's idea of therapy was dropping a nuke on Arasaka Tower? This man with a cigarette in one hand and a machine gun in the other wreaks havoc on the roof of Arasaka Tower. And once the helicopter lands, this man goes to work, one-tapping goons, planting the Demolitron and uploading a virus onto their network. But when everything seems smooth sailing, Silverhand runs to NC Boogeyman of legend, Adam Smasher.
You look like a cut of f***able meat, are you?
But he manages to survive and makes his way to the top of the tower, where he runs into him again, but this time, Smasher completes his task. You then get to see the destruction he caused, the mushroom cloud coming over Night City, the casualty toll rolling up, the Emperor himself coming to interrogate him. All of this because they killed his girlfriend. To be honest, if I fumbled someone like Alt 2, I'd drop a nuke as well. Kidding, NSA, if you're listening. Or am I? And after a lengthy conversation, Johnny gets soul killed. However, in the year 2077, the Rocker Boy returns thanks to V, Jackie, Evelyn, and Dexter Deshawn as they try to steal the engram chip from the Emperor's son, Yorinobu. But the high school's wrong as Yorinobu kills the Bureau, which puts the tower into lockdown and forces V and Jackie to flee from the plaza's balcony, which doesn't go well. As V returns from the heist mentally unstable, he's shot in the head by Dexter Deshawn, who in turn is shot in the head by Takamura, who in turn is shot in... Oh nah, I'm only joking. Who in turn helps V to recover. And this is when our favourite terrorist shows up again, and instead of trying to understand the situation or even get to know V, he pushes him, interrogates him, tries to attack him. Stick some eye in your mouth and pull the trigger! Bro has just woken up and chosen violence. It's been less than a minute and he's trying to catch a body. This man needs to be stopped! Throughout the game, Johnny starts to form a bond with V, and V even lets him take over the body sometimes, which goes as well as you think. He also gives V his dog tags, which he claims are his friends who sacrificed himself to save Johnny. Later, Johnny convinces V to attack Arasaka Tower again. Johnny mate, this is going to be a third time attacking Arasaka Tower. The determination is good to see, but to hold this grudge for this long can't be healthy. Oh, it's for Alt. Understandable, have a nice day. And depending on the ending you select, you can either stay or leave Night City as V, or you leave Night City as Johnny Silverhand. Or you kill yourself. To be honest, what makes him a menace isn't that he can override V's body or that he killed up to 13,000 people. Okay, maybe that does a little bit. It's the fact that 90% of the things that come out of his mouth are false. Very false. Those memories of Johnny one-tapping Arasaka goons during the Night City Holocaust? False. Surviving Adam Smasher the first time? False. He actually dies there. The standoff between him and Smasher on the roof? False. That's Morgan Blackhand. The dog tags he gives you claiming to be his friends? Nah, they were his own. Bro was clout chasing for beyond the grave. But this is merely due to him being an engram now. But nobody is changing my mind that he's a menace to society. He didn't just beef with Arasaka, he went full terrorist mode. Dropped a damn nuke over Night City, all because his girl got packed up. bro turned heartbreak into a Hiroshima speedrun. But at least Johnny has reasons as to why he's a demon, whether that be engram or not. But this next person doesn't have the same moral qualms as Johnny has.
He said that the others had been slaughtered by a crazy man. And get this, he's a crazy man traveling with a little girl. You see, everything happens for a reason.
Probably one of the most disgusting menaces in all of fiction appears in The Last of Us Part 1. This man is a master manipulator, a human devourer, an EDP for God's sake. I am indeed talking about the cannibals' leader, David. It all starts when Joel receives a minor injury during his fall at the university, which leads to him being in the care of Ellie, and with Ellie only being 14, she must go into the wilderness to hunt some game. And after finding a deer, that's when she meets the cheese pizza enjoyer himself. When I first saw this cutscene, I thought, what a fine gentleman. He was willing to trade medicine, ammo, guns, he was soft-spoken, seemed like a great father figure. Even when the Horde of Infected attacks them, he saves Ellie not once, but twice! David is then enjoying a comfy fight with his crush, sorry, with Ellie, and bro starts philosophizing. Who do you think he is? Miyamoto Musashi, Nietzsche, talking about
No such thing as luck.
he starts preaching like he was a pastor. Oh, that explains it. But the cupcake eater does actually have a point here, as he states that his group had been
Slaughtered by a crazy man. Crazy man traveling with a little girl.
This obviously leads to Ellie getting the fuck out, and David, being the man he is, ends the conversation by saying to Ellie that he'll protect her. We next see David when Ellie's hiding from the weirdos, and after killing half of their forces, she's choked out from behind and put into a den. When she does come to, Ellie's a bit peckish after seeing human torso, and lucky for her, here comes the Michelin star chef himself with some dinner, claiming it to be deer meat. No, Ellie, don't eat the deer meat! This man then proceeds to think that he's a Rizzler and tries to chat Ellie up. You're hot, you're loyal, and you're special. This man is a straight up menace in the apocalypse. He just spoke to Ellie like a dog, next to me telling her to catch a ball or lick his face. Okay, maybe I should actually remove that joke. When there are no rules around, everyone is fair game for this man. Human meat, little girls, there is no difference. Like, this man is a straight up definition of a menace. Unsurprisingly, Ellie then breaks his finger, and David, unsurprisingly, breaks her face. So I guess they're even now. After Ellie goes for a quick nap, David decides that he doesn't want to protect Ellie anymore, but instead makes stew out of her. However, when he's taking her out, Ellie bites him, allowing them to believe that he is now infected, giving Ellie enough time to slice this man up. You had one job, man. One job. Ellie then escapes thanks to the PDF files Stormtrooper Aim and tries to find her way out, whilst in the meantime, the goat Joel wakes up thanks to the medicine from Ellie, and after realising that she's in danger, starts a crusade against the enemy.
I don't know no girl. I ain't alive.
That's alright.
That's some cold shit, man. Ellie is then making her way through a diner where she gets jump scared by David once again, and this starts a very heated game of hide and seek. But after he gets angrier and angrier like a typical EDP, they both become unconscious. And when Ellie comes to, she tries to make her way towards a machete, but gets punted like a Ronaldo free kick. This leads to David getting the position he's been dreaming about and starts to choke Ellie. And whilst he's ecstatic about the situation he's in, he doesn't see that Ellie has her fingers on the machete. And this leads to one of the most satisfying scenes in all of gaming. David is truly one of the most disgusting menaces I've ever seen. He's not lovable like Johnny, but he's pure evil. No lies, no tragic backstory, just manipulation, cannibalism, and being a straight up apocalypse hazard. Which leads to him being a memorable part of that game, which he has in common with the next menace, who not only do I think is the biggest, but one of the most entertaining as well. In my humble opinion, I think Shane Walsh is the biggest menace to society there is, because Oh, this man is a straight crash out there also. In the first scene he's in, he sets the tone, talking about how women don't know how to close a light. Which is right, by the way, kidding to the 10% of you. He then does a really good exit impression and calls whoever the woman he had the pleasure of spending time with a bitch. But then they get a police call and make their way to the scene, where Rick gets absolutely bodied by a cholo and needs saving from Shane. Rick then wakes up after the world has gone to shit and goes on his own little adventure. We then next see our boy alive and well, and look who he's found. He's found Rick's wife and son. I mean, what a great guy. Even after he thinks his friend is dead, he finds and protects his wife. Bro didn't even let the body cool. He waited, what, 2 hours before he got with Rick's wife? My man was waiting for the opportunity to his stepdaddy and took it without hesitation. You got to respect the hustle. He even starts bonding with the man's child. Menace! This leads to, in retrospect, a really funny scene, as not only does Rick survive, he makes his way towards Shane's group. And just look at his face. That is the face of a man who buttered the wrong biscuit, mixed the wrong batter, creamed the wrong pie. Later on, Rick tells Shane how grateful he is, and Shane, realizing a mistake, makes his move to the next wife and kid. But this does lead to awkward tension between Shane and Laurie, as after realizing that Shane lied to her, Menace, she tells him not to speak to her or Carl anymore, which makes Shane lose a screw or two. But seriously, fuck that guy. Rick then decides that they're going to the CDC, which Shane disagrees with and contemplates killing him, if it wasn't for Christian Meth Santa Claus here. Nonetheless, he agrees and the group make their way toward the CDC. And at the start of episode 6, we see that it was Shane who placed the bed in front of the door, saving Rick's life. And even after this, he still decided to plow next man's wife. Menace! Anyways, the group settles in the CDC, enjoying family meals, hot showers, drinks, maybe too many drinks. Shane, chill man, get a bit touchy there Shane. Hey, yo Shane, relax! I'm telling you now, drunken Shane is a straight fool. This man was here talking about I love you to a girl who's been telling him to piss off for about 3 episodes. But I guess that's what happens when you're banging your best friend's wife. Menace! So to start season 2, Shane decides he wants to leave the group and go on his own after what he did at the CDC. But during a heart attack, Rick decides to leave Sophia on her own, which is a great idea. So after Sophia goes missing, the group go on a search, which eventually separates the group. This allows Rick, Carl and Shane to search in the woods, where they find a deer, and they take in the moment, allowing Carl some peace and serenity. Now because of this buffoon, they need supplies to fix Carl all up, to which Shane and Otis both volunteer. So they make their way towards the school, find the supplies and try to get out of there, which goes well. Shane then falls about 20 feet and twists his ankle, which isn't fantastic when you have a horde up your ass. But thanks to Otis, he manages to survive, and as a thank you back, Shane kneecaps him, cementing Shane as this season's menace. He even lies to the man's wife, telling a story that even Brandon Sanderson would be proud of. Just straight waffle! In the next couple of episodes, Shane continues to have problems with Rick's leadership, has a carpool karaoke with Rick's second wife, and begins his famous rivalry with Dale.
I know what kind of man you are.
He even tells Carol to cut her losses with Sophia. Bro is just causing issues left, right and centre at this point, just for the love of the game.
What are you gonna figure out?
Rick then tells him that Laurie is pregnant, which he believes is his. And realizing that he now needs to protect Laurie due to the walkers in the barn, he goes looking for the guns he gave to Dale. And after another happy interaction between them, Shane takes the bag and brings it back to the camp. But he finds Rick shepherding walkers and takes off like Usain Bolt. What is that? What is that? Look, Shane may be a bad guy, but he has every right to be pissed off here. As what the fuck are Rick and Herschel doing here? They're walkers for God's sake, and Shane rightfully puts out of his misery. But that isn't even the worst thing he does, because he opens the barn door, killing all the people that Maggie and Herschel know and love. But the last walker to come through that door is Sophia, Carol's daughter, sealing her fate. But this man is not done yet, as he's still on a mission to piss everyone off. He must have a fight with Dale without him even speaking a word.
Ask you something, man. What do you do? What do you do to keep this camp safe? Huh? What do you do?
This man is truly losing the plot. After a pleasant experience in town for Rick, he brings back a hostage, which causes further issues between him and Shane, as why is he bringing back a threat? This all culminates in a confrontation as Shane justifies his Otis's murder, his love for Laurie, and his desire to kill the hostage. Rick then says,
Stop acting like you know the way ahead, like you know the rules. There are no rules, man. We're lost.
To which Shane responds by saying,
Anymore. You can do it. It's my call, man. I don't think you can keep them safe.
a reasonable response in my opinion, but I don't think Rick thinks the same, as this leads to a little scuffle between them, and after Shane nearly decapitates Rick, he releases a handful of walkers, but they luckily escape thanks to Randall. But due to Randall knowing who Maggie is and where she lives, they take him hostage. Again. This decision loosens all the screws in Shane's head as he's trying to figure out what he should do with Randall. And imagine being in his shoes right now, when you're blindfolded and you have this psychopath in front of you. I'd be shamed too. But this becomes a reality for Paul Little Randall, as he's slain in the woods by the Punisher. Shane then lures Rick into the woods so he could kill him and have his perfect life with Laurie and Carl, saying,
Even right here, right now, you ain't gonna fight for him. I'm a better father than you, Rick. I'm better for Lori than you, man. It's because I'm a better man than you, Rick, because I can be here and I'll fight for it.
This guy's on a different planet. He's obsessed with this man's wife. They don't want you, little bro. Just move on. But he just has to make it worse, saying,
You got a broken woman. You got a weak boy.
This is what I mean by menace behavior. He just cussed out the man's son in front of him. Rick, are you not going to do anything about this? The guy just... Oh! Okay then, alright. Understandable. You guys want to know what makes him number one for me? Is that even from death, he's still trying to be a nuisance. Going for one last scare. Bro was a menace in life and in death. The reason why Shane is the biggest menace is because of the betrayal, deceit and harm he caused within the group. But god damn it was it entertaining to see. He turned the zombie apocalypse into his own soap opera, and I loved every second of it. Seeing him adapt to the apocalypse first is interesting to watch, and it's what ultimately gets him killed. With that, I'm banging his best friend's wife, but that's neither here nor there.